Hello and welcome. I'm Ellie Richardson and you're watching The World Report on NewsX World. We start this hour with some breaking news. Bill Gates has publicly apologised for his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, calling it a huge mistake. During a town hall meeting with Gates Foundation staff, Gates acknowledged that his meeting with Epstein was solely for philanthropic discussions and took responsibility for involving foundation executives in those meetings. He clarified that he did not engage in any illicit activities and expressed regret for the negative impact it had on others. Documents from the US Department of Justice revealed that Gates and Epstein met after Epstein's prison term to discuss expanding Gates' efforts. Gates also admitted to personal matters, including affairs with Russian women, but emphasized these were unrelated to Epstein's victims. As for actions against former Prince Andrew, he faced significant public and legal scrutiny following his relationship with Epstein, which led to his removal from royal duties and title. Currently, investigations into his conduct are ongoing, with questions about his involvement in criminal activities surrounding Epstein still under review. The case of Bill Gates is likely to raise similar questions about accountability, particularly as his actions have sparked wider discussions about the ties between powerful figures and Epstein. It remains to be seen what, if any, formal actions the US authorities will take in response to Gates' public acknowledgement and the ongoing investigations. Bill Gates has publicly apologised for his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, calling it a huge mistake during a town hall meeting with Gates Foundation staff. Gates acknowledged that his meetings with Epstein were solely for philanthropic discussions and took responsibility for involving foundation executives in those meetings. He clarified that he did not engage in any illicit activities and expressed regret for the negative impact it had on others. We are now being joined by Major General Sudhakar Ji, who's a senior geopolitical and strategic defence expert. Thank you so much for joining us here today on NewsX World. The first question I have is, will the US take action against Gates? As we've just heard, the UK has taken action against Andrew, who is the King's brother, and has also taken action against Peter Mandelson. Do you think the US will do the same with Gates?
Good morning, Ellie. Thank you for inviting me for your show. Your question can be divided into two parts: desirability and implementation. Desirability, yes. A rules-based superpower as USA must take action, and whether it will happen or not, it is anybody's guess. Now, having said that, two more lines, if you allow me. For a country like United States of America, and if Epstein file is to be, the victims have to be given due justice, there has to be a comprehensive investigation. Since it has already reached the judiciary, I presume that there has been adequate investigation in past whatever time, decade or more than a decade. If the investigation has not taken place, then there is no question of any cases of defamation. So it's my assumption that yes, some investigation has taken place. If the investigation has taken place, then the unethical or illicit relationship or support to Epstein file must be brought out in open domain. And it must be made public. Only then people like Bill Gates, when they apologize, we don't know what is beyond his apology. So all these things have to be gone into when you talk about whether United States of America will take action or not. People of America will do well to demand what is beyond what is coming or what is visible. So that is the need of the hour. Back to you, Ellie.
And what does Bill Gates' public apology and taking responsibility for his interactions with Jeffrey Epstein say about accountability for high-profile business leaders, and to what extent can an apology to his internal staff, how can this address broader concerns about the Gates Foundation and its global initiatives?
Yeah, great question. It is can be actually addressed in two separate heads. One is the legal responsibility or the legal overtone. The second is the moral accountability. When you talk about the legal accountability, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, I don't think apology has got any kind of uh, um, a mechanism to overlook or oversee or ignore the offense which would have been committed. The nature of offense has to be taken cognizance of, and it has to be decided by a criminal court, because it is a very serious thing which is happening. The character of the nation, the future generation is affected if it is allowed to let go. So apology, as per me, is means nothing. We must go into the details. If people of high profile as Bill Gates, whose name is ringing bells all over on social activities, selfless kind of involvement for the humanity at multiple places, that should not be taken advantage of to ignore any kind of illicit or unethical practice or indulgence that he would have had. Therefore, there is a requirement to investigate whether was he involved in these unethical practices, be in terms of financial fraud, financial support, or in the trafficking of women and girl children. Back to you, Lee.
And how might this controversy influence global partnerships, such as Gates' decision to withdraw from key events like the India AI Impact Summit that happened last week, amid scrutiny of his Epstein connections?
Great again. So the impact is, you see, the world order is also evolving by the day. We have migrated from 20th century to 21st century. We have been talking about rules-based order without any rules. So as a result, in absence of rules, the rules-based order cannot be complied with. In absence of rules-based order, the trust is going to be the biggest victim. So under the circumstances, there is lack of trust, and events are actually overtaking at such a speed that these events, they can actually take any kind of form and contour and start manifesting in a manner which the common population, which does not have time in the digital world and the social media world today, it will have least of impact as far as my assessment is concerned. The most important thing is money, unfortunately, can buy anything. It is for the world body, world organization to decide whether it should be allowed to go on like this, or we should put a stop to it. As far as the artificial intelligence summit example that you have taken, yes, it is artificial intelligence summit which took place in Delhi is a progressive milestone towards the global order, the new oil of the modern world, that is the oil, the data being the oil and the technology being the main driver. This is onto a kind of a realistic, progressive, forward-looking kind of a development taking place. And therefore, it will not have an impact on that, I personally feel, because the money has got a different kind of a ball game and different kind of understanding. But when it comes to the unethical practice like this, the host country or the country where this incident has taken place has a moral responsibility to investigate and take all these people, hold them accountable, and take action against them so that the future generation draws a lesson out of it. Back to you, Ellie.
And does this episode reveal gaps in the vetting and oversight practices within major foundations, and what reforms, if any, might strengthen ethical safeguards?
Absolutely, absolutely spot on. Your question itself has got the answer. I would say, why only talk about Bill Gates and his foundation? There are many such kind of foundations existing in the world, which actually are glossed over or ignored by the enforcement directorates of different countries. The surveillance and the monitoring mechanism has got very far and few staff to keep an eye on all such activities. Therefore, it calls for should be taken as a common challenge today by the global bodies. And we need to have a sharing of intelligence information, because it is not limited to the boundary of America. It has gone beyond that to Europe, gone to the Middle East, gone to the Asian countries. So therefore, it would do well if there is a comprehensive kind of understanding, some kind of an alliance, and counter strategy must be worked out so that the 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 human trafficking, which is actually the central conduit through which these activities are being fostered or taken forward, is choked at a relevant point in time, so that they are brought to an end and they are not encouraged. So to ensure that you have a financial angle, transaction of money, then you have a human angle, then you have a supply chain, they have to be choked. Then you have the conduits who are operating at different country, different place, different way of life. Then you have the gang warfare. The whole ecosystem has to be studied in detail by a global body, and all nations as members of United Nations, they must be taken on board, or resolution must be passed in the United Nations General Assembly or the Security Council, because this itself would become a trigger or a future platform of any kind of activities related to terrorism, related to pandemic activity, related to compromise on national security. For all you know, USA would have compromised all the securities there because of Epstein file. Look at the high-profile people from Norway, from UK, from elsewhere. So this actually should ring a very serious bell in the minds of the people of United States. They must go into the details. More than anything else, more than the character and ethical values having been disrupted, it is the national security of USA which I am fearing would have been compromised to a serious extent. Therefore, they need to take it up seriously.
Thank you. Please don't go too far, Major General Strategy, as I'll join back with you in just a moment. The UK government has agreed to release